Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? So we have a video today, and this is going to be a bit of a rant. I'm kind of upset at this, to be honest, but let's get right into it. Anyways, these sweaters are going to be available soon on my merch shop in about 3 weeks, but there's going to be a limited amount. Anyways, Star Wars New Book includes a shocking revelation about Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. So you guys remember the certain point of view books? They had one for A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. There was a lot of really cool information in them. However, these books are canon, and they have a bunch of different writers for Star Wars that go in there into the moments from the original trilogy, and they kind of add to things, but sometimes they change things as well. Like, for example, there was one moment in The Empire Strikes Back, I believe, I think it was The Empire Strikes Back, where we see Yoda and his robe, or the blanket that he uses, is actually Qui-Gon Jinn's robe. I thought that was really cute. It was nice little scene. Of course, these aren't George Lucas, stamp of approval, but those little things are kind of nice. And I just see them as sort of canon-y legends, treads on it, right? But this one I don't like, and you guys might enjoy it, so you let me know. Looking back, the Obi-Wan Kenobi we met in the original Star Wars trilogy was more than a little manipulative when it came to his relationship with Luke Skywalker. He failed to tell the young Jedi the truth about his father and even sacrificed himself in that battle with Darth Vader as a means of pushing Luke to become a hero. Well, that's how one could look at it from a certain point of view anyway. In the upcoming book, From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi, Lucasfilm will revisit and expand on several key moments and characters from the movie to celebrate its 40th anniversary. A new excerpt reveals Obi-Wan could sense the darkness within Luke and feared he might eventually follow in his father's footsteps. This goes some way in explaining why he and Yoda contemplated there being another who could bring down Emperor Palpatine and Vader and Leia should Luke fail. This short story will also be interesting because it should pull back the curtain on why Ben felt it was necessary to lie to Luke about this lineage. The Jedi Master will likely also elaborate on his claim Anakin Skywalker had been killed by Vader. Ultimately, a lot of what we've mentioned here is down to George Lucas retconning certain elements of A New Hope as his trilogy continued. A book like this is a good opportunity to better explain that and fill in some long-standing plot holes. Remember, The Last Jedi strongly hinted that Luke nearly embraced the dark side by striking down his nephew Ben Solo. Had he chosen to deliver the fatal blow, it's a decision we have to believe would have sent the hero down a path he couldn't return from. Instead, he went to hiding and abandoned the galaxy. Yeah. So, before we even get into the Last Jedi stuff, which I don't really think we need to, them changing the fact that adding the reason that Ben didn't tell Luke about Vader is because he sensed the darkness within Luke to kind of make sense for Luke doing that, what he did in The Last Jedi or whatever, I think is total bogus, and it's just some sort of made-up crap that someone is trying to put in there to fill in the gap or appease maybe their own sentiments of the scene, or to add something that they think is riveting and exciting, or to maybe add some clarification or clairvoyance or explanation to Luke trying to kill his nephew in The Last Jedi. I personally think it is absolutely ridiculous. Obi-Wan never sensed the darkness in Luke. If he had, he would have told Luke to be mindful of your dark emotions. This is the last hope in the galaxy. If there was some sort of a inkling that Obi-Wan had that Luke, first of all, Luke was a pure Jedi, okay? He was very pure, and that's the thing, is that, yes, he got angry in the end when he was fighting Vader, but that's because he was provoked at the thought of his sister, Leia, being turned to the dark side when he was no longer around. And once he noticed that he was following down the path that his father had followed and going to turn to the dark side himself, he looked at his mechanical hand and his father's and saw that the connection was all too real, that he is literally stepping down the same path, and he didn't want to do that. So he stopped and he threw his lightsaber away. That guy doesn't have darkness within him like Anakin. And for Obi-Wan to not tell Luke the truth because he thinks that Luke has the dark side in him. He didn't tell Luke about his dad being Vader because it would have conflicted him, not because he had the darkness within him. He wanted Luke to have a very clear mind when he went to become a Jedi. He wanted Luke to have clear thoughts and to not be conflicted with the fact that, holy crap, the father I never had is actually the one that is evil in the galaxy, and I am now going to have to fight him. That would mess with his mind more than anything. That is the reason that Obi-Wan didn't tell Luke, and I agree with Obi-Wan not telling Luke. It would have completely changed how Luke saw the galaxy and how Luke saw the dark side and how Luke saw his father. And what he needed to do at that time was to focus and not be distracted. I mean, if he was thinking that, holy crap, you know, Vader's behind me or whatever in the trench run, or sense that this is his dad, oh my gosh, like, would he have even made the shot? He would have been so distracted. So this kind of like adding to the mythos or whatever of, you know, leave what George Lucas made alone. Don't try and play with the thoughts of why Obi-Wan said this or that or why he didn't. George made it a certain way, and to go and add your own crap to that, I think is absolute just ridiculousness and really unnecessary just to sell a book and to add in another chapter. I fully disagree that Obi-Wan didn't tell Luke about Darth Vader because, well, he didn't want to confuse him, not because he sensed the dark side in him. I hate when they do stuff like this, and I always feel like I have to make a video about it because I just think it's really ridiculous that this is now the new canon. But anyways, also to discuss why why Obi-Wan and Yoda said that there is another in Leia should Luke fail, is because Luke was impatient and that he left his training, not because he had darkness within him. Okay, it's not Luke is bad, Luke is dark, Leia is pure, she's light. No, dude, if anything, in fact, Leia was much more dark side than Luke. She was much more brash. And this is in Legends. She's much more dark side than Luke is, if anything, if you'd even call it that. He's much more brash and emotional, and Luke is much more calm. And maybe that's because of his training, because he was training longer. I don't really know. Maybe it's his temperament. I don't really know. But I always felt like Luke was the calmer one, and Leia was much more like Anakin in that sense. So, you know, we're not even going to talk about The Last Jedi stuff, because I think that movie is so not Luke that it's not even worth mentioning right now at the moment. So yeah, this is what I think about them adding this into canon. I'm not in agreement with it, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you guys like the fact that they added this little bit in there, or are you against it? Thanks so much for watching today's vid. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always. Hey guys, so this is a new project that I've been working on, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to be releasing it in a few days here. This is a AI mixture with some artists that I have, particularly some of you know, GAGFX, who is a Photoshop artist, and I've combined the two together with his custom art and some AI work, and we're going to be trying to make a what-if scenario with dialogue, with AI voices, of what if Ahsoka went to Mustafar to not fight Anakin, they end up fighting, but to try and talk him out of what he's doing, of turning to the dark side. And I think it's pretty interesting. This is my first time really dabbling in that whole world and doing fan fiction like this. So I hope you guys will check it out in a few days when it does come out, but I've been working really hard on it with a few people. Shout out to Nick, shout out to GAGFX. I've sent the first run to the join members already, and a lot of them really love it. So I hope the community will like this. I'm really enjoying making fan fictions like this again, and so yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next vid.